Yo, Blaze,
Yo, what's good, Tone? Get in here.
you trying to burn?
You already late. You already know.
I know, brother. Light that thing up.
Welcome back, everybody. You Trying to Burn, episode 9 with Blaze and Tone. We just here enjoying this beautiful Memorial Day holiday. We hope y'all enjoying y'all day too. Hope y'all burning some fresh, crispy buds out there and enjoying all that delicious food that everybody's making. And that is one thing that I am so looking forward to today, the Munchies. So, Blaze, I got one question for you. You trying to burn?
Hell yeah, Tone. You know I'm trying to burn, brother. It is literally Memorial Day. Like you said, happy Memorial Day. Thank you for everyone that served, and we appreciate that. But it's a holiday for us, and that means I am ready to burn, bro. I'm definitely trying to burn.
Sweet. Well, let's roll that thing up, man. Or let's light that torch up, right? Because maybe you want to dab today?
I'm pretty much always down, man. I'm down.
Well, let's do it then.
Let's go. I got some flaves here ready for us, Tone. Holiday. I wanted to talk a little bit about what's everybody getting into, man, for the holiday weekend. This is one of them good ones, the summer's kicking off. And just cannabis friendly, man. What we talked about a few episodes back, what it's like, when you're cannabis friendly and, holidays come up. This is a great example. Me and Tone were talking about it. We both pulled out a real discreet option that we could, basically dip off when we're with the family or the certain friends that maybe ain't so cannabis friendly, but don't judge us for who we are, right? Tone broke out the little live resin card. I think that thing had me twisted. And I'm the same way, man. I got my little Yocan pen.
Yocans are the best.
Yeah, I beat them up, man. That thing really, it's my go-to daily driver as far as, dabs on the go. It's not the most efficient because it kind of burns up your shit a little bit, but it gets you there and you could dip off real quick, one or two puffs and just be right back in the crowd. Eyes just a little lower.
And head a little spacier.
Fucking Space Cadet.
Oh, yeah. And that's one of my favorites, right? Because last time we spoke about Space Cadets, and I was just so amazed by how our bodies do not want to respond to our brains when we are in Space Cadet mode.
Right. You know what I mean?
Like I know I need to move them, but how do I send that signal from my brain to my hands again?
Just sitting there with my hands up.
In permanent prayer mode.
Like Will Ferrell in Talladega Nights. We was doing a TV interview. He didn't know where to put his hands. They're like, just put them down, bro.
Just put them down? Are you sure? Just here?
Yeah,
right there's okay?
Just put them down, Anyway, so what's your, you guys let us know, what is your favorite discreet option? Or are you just not being discreet at all? We're in a, less of a prohibition era, at least in New Jersey, the prohibition's been lifted. We know that some of you guys are still struggling with the rules and regulations, but a lot of people are on some real I don't give a fuck type of attitude these days. So what are you guys doing? I like to keep it discreet. One, if I'm not discreet, man, I got to share with everybody, and I can't really support everyone's habit.
You know sharing is caring, but not all the time.
Right. And you're talking about family, man, they already know what's up with me. So, before they even seen a pen, I got 100 questions. I'm like, nope, I don't got no answers.
I think the first question is, do you got 5 on it?
Right. Now when they ask me a question, I'm like, I do have an answer for you, man. Season 1, episode 4, You Trying to Burn. Spotify, get on it, man. It's got all the answers you need. I'm really turning into that guy because this is what led us here, man. Everybody asking us so many questions, right? And which I love answering, but now I like to break people's balls. Like, clearly you're not listening. You have not tapped in, right?
And now you're getting penalized for not tapping in.
Right, you get a penalty for not tapping in. That means I'm going to put you on blast every time. I'm just playing. I like to fuck with people. It's sort of who I am. I mentioned it before. When I don't fuck with you, it's probably because I don't fuck with you.
Yep,
you know what I mean?
And I don't like you.
Right,
yep.
That's what I mean.
Yep.
I don't fuck with you because I don't fuck with you.
So, I seen some really cool things, especially over the years, with different kind of rigs, basically, or portable vaping devices, like the carts, and carts that have, hidden battery slots or hidden cart slots that are battery-powered rigs that you could put bud in them and vaporize the bud.
Right.
Different portable dab rigs as well, too, kind of like your Yocan that you're talking about, has little bottoms, screw off, and you could just take your little ripper, throw it in the chamber, light that thing up, and just take your little rips. It's just so amazing how all this technology has made life so convenient, but also made it so that we could enjoy ourselves around any environment.
Right, really any environment, really no matter where you're at or who you're around, as long as you can be a little creative and slide off, you can slide right back without anybody knowing. And you're right, man. There's so many different options. I personally have not been able to find the flower portable vape, that actually does what I want it to do.
Yeah.
But there are, speaking of portable dab rigs, man, there's a couple of brands out there that are making like affordable stuff, because there's a lot of high end dab rigs and portable stuff. But for the average everyday toker, some of that stuff is really out of reach. You got to budget and save to achieve some of those goals. And then that just the fact that you have to go through all that makes that less portable because you don't want nothing to happen.
Or you don't even experience it because you don't want to spend the extra money on it.
Right. So there's a couple of little. There's one brand. Shout out to Luca. It's like hookah, but spelled with an L. Luca makes a lot of affordable dab rigs and portable devices, and one of my favorites is. You just actually reminded me of it, Tone. It's almost like a little tiny electric bong, maybe like a Puffco or a Carta, like portable dab rig, but it's super tiny. It fits in your pocket, a little bit of water, it can't spill out, and the whole cone is magnetic. So the whole rig can fit in your pocket. You could just slide off and do a blast rig.
Real blast rig.
Like you just broke out the torch, my man, right? And you're going to blow your nose and eyes are going to be crying if you go too hard. I forgot about that little thing, man. As long as you keep them clean. And I feel like that's with any device. I think that a lot of people are like, oh, I don't like the Yocan, get sticky. And I'm like, well, you didn't develop that little routine that I got where I just take a couple alcohol wipes or a paper towel with rubbing alcohol on there and wipe it down every day.
Every time, too.
Yeah, every time I open it up, I give it a quick wipe so that I don't got to deal with that. But when you get a little complacent, that dab will seal your device right on up, man. And you will be looking for a new one.
So I have experienced the laziness after the burning, and one of my rigs, actually, the atomizer burnt out on me.
Right. Well, atomizers, they're, in this day and age, man, they're designed to be flawed. Nothing's flawless. They need you to buy more.
Yeah, so, disposable.
Yeah, so for sure your atomizer will burn out. Now, I had a electric nectar collector made by the same brand, Luca. Basically, you heat it up and you just stick the tip of it in the wax or oil or rosin, whatever your choice is, and draw through it like a straw.
Oh, that's freaking nice. So you just straight up just open up your little lid,
stick it right in there,
just
man.
Right,
got a little
shit
quartz
is amazing.
Tip. It is, and also like dangerous, man, because you don't have to go through no preparation. You just screw the lid off, heat this thing up, and take a sip. You know what I mean? It's like putting a straw in a beverage, man. I was literally walking around a little hazy for a while when I first got it because it was such like a brand new toy, brand new thing for me. I'm like, ooh, look what I could do. You know what I mean? But I experienced that thing where I didn't realize, the nuances of cleaning it. Every time, just a quick wipe every time, a quick swab out every time, just because that's the easiest way to do it. And literally, reclaimed resin started oozing through the buttons on me, man. I was like, yeah, I'm going to electrocute myself with this little dab rig or start a fire or something. So I kind of leaned away from it, but you kind of reminded me, man, there's so many good devices out there to keep it discreet. Like, I would love that. We're going to some barbecues today to have my little nectar collector with me because then I don't got to do nothing. I don't got to use a hot knife. I don't got to load anything. I'll be right back. Stick that tip of that thing right in the jar, just the tip. We're only putting the tip in. And get me a blast. And
many fathers have said that.
Facts. Only the tip.
Only the tip. Yep.
So, and then after that, after I get my little dab on, that's going to lead me right to the topic front and center because, we all eating good today.
Oh, man, we eating so good today.
Hell yeah. And after I take that dab, I'm definitely going to have the munchies kicking in. And that's a fun topic to talk about, right? Because some people hate it, some people love it. And I would say that as long as you keep your finger on the pulse, the munchies don't got to be your enemy, man. Somebody like me who loves indica, that creates real bad munchies. So you got to be real cognizant that, maybe you don't need to eat, at that time. But beside that part of it, it's always fun to kind of figure out what your go-to. How about you, Tone? Do you got a go-to munchie? And at this time of the year, like at a holiday, are you hitting like the barbecue? Like, I'm just going to get some ribs, or what's your munchie method?
So I have two munchie methods, actually. So one is when I smoke like some bud.
Let me just roll this up.
Absolutely. When I smoke some bud, I want to eat good. I want to eat a burger. I want to eat a hot dog. I want to have some potato salad. I want to have some, what do you call it, like feta salads. I want to have like a good mix of stuff. But I've noticed that when I bring my pens and I try to be a little more discreet, I lean a little bit towards like the chips and the snacks and the little Hershey's Kisses and like the little nitpickings that you get.
Right, so you're
on
grazing
these holidays. I'm grazing,
across
yes.
multiple little things,
Yes.
sweets and chips and snacks, as opposed to sitting down and having a meal. That's funny, man, because I don't know if I've put that much thought into my munchies. I know that I have some go-tos. Like if it's the holiday time, man, anytime from Halloween to Easter, I'm going straight for my holiday Reese's, bro. Like, I don't care if it's a party or whatever. I probably got a pack in the car, but that's it. I don't like them any other time of the year. The ratio's off for me, so that's not my go-to. Like right now, if we were hitting this barbecue up later and I hit this indica, I'm probably going to get a burger, but I'm going to save room for some sweets, man. I got a sweet tooth like a motherfucker.
So yesterday we actually went to one of our friends' barbecues, and they have sweet baby back ribs. Like he makes his own like little sauce for it, little barbecue sauce. That thing is amazing.
Hold on, let me check my phone. I think I missed that invite.
Yes, you did miss that invite. Yes.
I see.
Because I was trying to keep all the food for myself.
I see.
Yes.
And he did not
so
bring
next
me a
year,
plate.
though, next year I'll bring you some leftovers.
He's like, next year I'll bring you a cup of that custom-made barbecue sauce.
Yep, and I'll bring you some of that crack and cheese that she likes to make. Yo, that thing is serious, bro.
What is
like
crack and cheese?
So it's like 10 pounds of cheese and 5 pounds of mac. That's why it's called crack and cheese, because that thing's gonna crack your stomach wide open and probably your butt too.
Is this baked mac and cheese?
This is baked mac and cheese. Yes,
bro. You see, this is how your friends treat you. He holding out. I ain't know shit about this until today.
Shit, years I've been holding out for you.
Right.
Man, right?
Oh my god. I'm gonna have to smoke this one by myself.
No.
Nah, never that, man. I'm a social smoker. As much as I can be in this post-COVID world, I thought social smoking was gone for good. But anyway, back to the munchies at hand.
Yep.
Right?
Also, too, anybody out there at a barbecue, send us pictures of your tables.
Right.
Send us pictures of what y'all eating, or send us pictures of y'all bud tables.
Right.
Because I know there's some people out there that are like, yo, we having a barbecue, but we having a real barbecue.
A budbecue.
A budbecue.
I like
exactly.
that.
Yes.
We're going to roast nugs this holiday weekend in honor of all of our serving members of the military, and past and present and future. Toke up. And I'm pretty sure, there's a lot of people, ex-military, that have turned to cannabis. So I'm pretty sure it's one with that community, just not talked about as much. When I was in California with our dispensaries, we had tons of ex-military patients that would come in on a day-to-day. Like me, I think cannabis helps me be the most normal version of myself without having the pressures of, little aches and pains, or, we've all been through traumatic experiences and you got to work through them. And for me, I think cannabis is a great medium across cultures, across industries, across countries. I just think the prohibition really needs to get lifted, like, globally, man.
I agree, brother. I agree. And I really think that the U.S. is looking at it that way, too, because the Fed is really trying to push for that law to be passed so that it's not recognized as a Schedule I and accepted, in every state.
100%. Like, the simple fact is, if you want to run this country, there's taxpayer dollars, right? And you're limiting exactly what you could gain as a country. Like, look at Colorado and how much their infrastructure built up over that surplus of tax dollars. Now you're talking about streets and schools and things that, the budget sort of neglects because it's it's just not there as far as tax dollars. And all of a sudden, a surplus of tax dollars that all of its citizens, the first year or two it was legal, started getting dividend checks because that's what their state their state constitution or state law dictates, that if they have over surplus of tax dollars, that gets redistributed to the public. So like that first year, people were getting $500 checks in the mail just because of you and me, brother. The people like you and me who would love to do legal business within the cannabis industry and actually pay our taxes. And, we want that money brought to the light. But cannabis users have been forced in the dark, and there's a ton of dark revenue. People are going to get their bud.
One way or another,
right.
Absolutely. Because we were doing it, decades before it became legal, and we were hunting every day. Where am I going to get this? Where am I going to go get that?
And, even when the prohibition started to become lifted, we felt weird, like traumatized, like being able to just smoke on your private property in your backyard without having like the cops show up. Even that was a weird feeling because of the prohibition had been, the way it was for so long. Always felt like we had to hide just to not be, a walking zombie on, opiates or anxiety medicine or, you know what I mean? Like, I'm more holistic. I talked before, I'm not against medicine. I'm not against, going to the hospital or taking care of yourself. But I am all for using this plant to do as much as it can for me before I got to turn other routes. Regardless of what the scenario is.
Blaze, I got a question for you, man.
What's up?
When you like to burn, are you a sweet or a savory with the munchies?
Well, that depends, man. Like I said, if it was holiday times, I probably always had some Reese's around. I got a killer sweet tooth. I didn't always have a sweet tooth, man. When back in the day, I mentioned I had weight loss surgery when I was a real big guy. I wanted meat and potatoes, man. I wanted to sit down with some ribs and some mac and cheese and some mashed potatoes, some cornbread. I wanted to have that big boy plate, But then once I lost weight, while I still enjoy those meals, way smaller than they ever were, I got a sweet tooth, man. Developed a crazy sweet tooth. And so now, I'm always on the hunt, for something delicious and sweet. I like chocolate chip shit. I've found out chocolate chip scones, chocolate chip cookies. I like chocolate chip bread.
So I do got a unique question for you, right? Because this is something that I find with myself, especially late night. Are you a late night munchie eater?
Unfortunately, yes, because I'm a night owl. And this is one of the things that I constantly have to battle myself on so that I don't become one of those people that gains all their weight back after they went through all this trouble to lose it. I told you it's been 8 years. And as that sweet tooth got worse once I lost weight, and the fact that I'm still very much a night owl, I got to fight that urge, man. So I got to make sure that, if I know I'm going to be up for a few more hours, that I got to get my snack in now because I don't want to find myself snacking right before I fall asleep. You know what I mean? So now if I'm going to be up till 12 or 1 or even 2 in the morning, now I got to be cognizant that my last snack is like 11 or 12. And that I'm not just sitting there because I'm usually up, cleaning, doing stuff, researching for the podcast, researching for my daily grind, always on the grind, So I am, unfortunately, a late night snacker, and them sweets, man, they get you. And if sometimes that strain is real fucking heavy, those are the times I'm like, yeah, I just need these cookies right now. I'm gonna say F it, but I'm gonna go for a walk before bed. You know what I mean? So for real. What about you? You late night or does it matter?
So if I know that I'm working late night, especially on the computer, I try to get a sandwich in at 11. Same thing like you. I try to not cross that 12 o'clock marker to give myself some time to digest the food and not just be eating and going to bed, with a full stomach.
Right. So, we did a little bit of our holiday barbecuing yesterday, right? And so I got to be cognizant. Can't really eat giant plates, but I want to taste a little bit of everything. But I was up until 4 in the morning, my man. So I definitely, around 1 o'clock, was like, yeah, I really got to eat something now. But I knew I was going to be up for a little bit while longer, had some more stuff to clean up, some other stuff to do. So I said, whatever. I'm just going to have a little bit of strawberry shortcake that we had for dessert at the barbecue that nobody cut until I did at, 1 in the morning.
Did you bring me a piece of that strawberry shortcake by any chance?
No, I didn't.
And you see people, this is how your friends treat you.
Touche, my friend.
No love.
Right, you got me there. I didn't get an invite, and you got no desserts, right?
Well, I guess we're even then.
No, we're not even, Tone, because I got this Fat J right here.
Ooh, that thing looks like a bat. That is not a J, man.
You know-
that's a little baby slugger right there.
I'm really tired of hearing this, man. Not from you. I hear it all the time. This is a standard. This is one standard joint. Maybe it's slightly heavy-handed compared to the average smoker. But everybody sees my joint and they're like, holy shit, that thing's like a baseball bat. You're going to knock us out. Nah, bro, this is a standard. If you want me to roll a baseball bat, I can.
Yes.
And would be happy to.
Yes. Yo, do you remember rolling El Producto?
I do for a short while
Back in the day where you could roll like a whole quarter
Right.
inside of one blunt? Oh my man, I miss those days.
I don't know if you guys, where you grew up, if it was called the same thing, but we used to roll what they were called Godfathers.
Yes, hell yeah, Godfather, where you just slowly take out all the guts from the L, and then you just break it up real fine and just pack that bad boy in.
Start packing it up to the very end.
Yep,
And that's what we used to use, the big El Productos.
Yeah.
They were called something like.
Was it the one that came in the glass bottle?
No, I did used to get those as well, but we used to get the big box El Producto Grandes or something like that, right? They were the big ones, and then we developed a method to remember getting that tobacco out was tough, man.
Yo, that thing was a mission, bro.
What we found out was if you just lit that cigar up and took a few giant puffs off the cigar and then let it turn off, and it would dry right out, and then we could just roll it between our hands and dump out all that tobacco. But like you said, we also weren't smoking quality bud like we are today. So that was El Producto stuffed with some Mexican stress, otherwise known as Reggie Bush. Black seeds and lots of stems that were plucked out. And that's why you needed that much. But it was still a good experience, man. You know, rolling that Godfather up, you felt like a boss smoking that whole ounce of bud, shitty bud inside of a cigar leaf.
So the first time I ever smoked a big blunt like that was with my first dealer. His name was Lou. I was like 13 years old.
Jesus, we don't recommend.
Yes, please do not recommend that. Wait till you're like 17 at least.
At least 18.
And the homie would come by and he used to sell quarters of shake for $20.
Wow.
Yo, and we would every week we would just hit this guy up like, yo, please come and hook us up. And one day he invited us back to his crib for a nice big barbecue, and that's when he pulled out the first Godfather I ever smoked. And
wow.
Man, that thing just lit us all up. There was like 10 of us, all of us just burning on it. And I think like 8 of us fell asleep in his backyard. It was crazy.
I got a similar story, man. I wasn't that young, but this was when I was about 18 or 19. And I had a really good plug at the time. An old head compared, to me at that time. He was in his early 30s. And I used to spend a lot of time hanging out with these guys. And we got a shore house down here at the Jersey Shore, Long Beach Island, LBI. We used to get these papers where you could rip them off at any length. So it was like a spool, right? And we would unspool the whole box and paste them all together into one giant paper, right? And then we proceeded to break up. Back then it was now called middies, which was green shitty weed with no black seeds, 1 or 2 regular brown tiger stripe looking seeds in there, much less stems. We thought that was good. And it was for the time. You young people have no fucking clue.
idea.
We proceeded to break up a whole quarter pound of that shit and rolled the whole quarter pound in one arm-sized joint straight out of a Cheech and Chong movie. Then we proceeded to smoke it. And then my asshole friend, Mike, I hope you're listening. I haven't talked to you in a long time, but this is about you, bro. Every time you go to hit that joint, he's like, eat that dick. What? Bro, and you're trying, now you feel awkward. Meanwhile, the ladies in the group are just toking away. They got no problem. They're laughing at the joke. Whatever. The roach was 56 grams, man. We weighed it. It was 56 grams. Half of the quarter pound was in roach.
That's wild.
Right. And then we put it in a giant cereal bowl. Come back an hour later, give it a little blow on the cherry, spark right back up. And then somebody knocked the giant baseball-sized cherry off the giant joint, and it fell onto the rental property carpet. And you know what a burn, if somebody drops a cherry of a regular-sized joint, it makes a little black burn mark.
Kind of hide that.
Right. Let's times that by 1,000. This burn hole on the floor, man. We definitely lost our security deposit, but it was still a good time and a good experience. And we did try to hide it. We put a little area rug over that shit. Degenerates, man. But I was the young bull. They were the irresponsible one. And that's it for today's episode. Episode 9, You Trying to Burn, Tone and Blaze. Want to thank everybody that's been tapping in this whole time. Our season's getting ready to wrap up. Next week will be our season finale. We're going to be off for a few weeks. We'll be back June 26th, 4:20 in the morning. So we look forward to seeing you guys there. But during that time frame, we're going to be real active on our social medias.
And our social medias are at You Trying to Burn on Instagram, on TikTok, and on YouTube. Plus, you could also send us any of your pictures and anything you want to talk about at youtryingtoburn@gmail.com.
And don't forget, we definitely want y'all to get down on that cipher. Throw something on that Patreon. Thank you for joining us and tapping in. We love y'all.
Peace.